with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism, maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One Mike with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What up? Welcome into the Wednesday edition of the One Mike Show, a.k.a. the Hump Day edition. Let me turn my headphones up. Turn me up in the headphones, son. Turn me up, done. All right, I'm here, man. Appreciate you guys joining me and allowing me to help you get over the rest of this hump, man. Being heard via Spreaker.com, also on the Spreaker app, also on Blastfy.com, also on TuneIn, if you got the app or if you want to check it out online. I don't know too many people who listen to TuneIn online, but if you do that, you know I'm there for you as well. Also, you can hear me via my website, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. And also, if you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, do not fret. Don't even worry about it, man. You can always catch archived episodes of the show on those 4 outlets I just mentioned, as well as on YouTube, as well as on TuneIn, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. Speaking of YouTube, I'm doing something different today with the situation with the video stream. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to do it where I'm on YouTube, right, and also on Facebook as well. So you guys can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. And while you're there, it should be at the top of the page. You'll see a live stream, but it's not Facebook Live because I'm trying to diversify. I didn't tell Renee I was doing this because, you know, Renee like to chastise me, and you know what I mean. And I can only do it live. Like I can only try it out live. I can't, you know, wait until sometime in the middle of the night and test it out. I just gotta jump on in, man, see how it works. So hopefully it goes smoothly today. If not, you can always go to YouTube and search for One Mike with Big Mike. The number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Do that. Yeah, there I go. Yeah, so it's working. All right. And then also make sure you subscribe to my page. We got to get the subscribers up. That's the reason I'm doing this tonight, and may continue to do it so we can get the subscribers up. That way you can get like a URL, a custom URL or whatever it's called. So make sure I get all the business out the way. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well at the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. That is for my Twitter and my Instagram. Also, make sure you guys take advantage of my sound offline. It's 678-568-9011. You can use that number. Call it, leave a message. I prefer it be 30 seconds or less about anything. You know, anything you might hear on the show, anything you might see crazy out in the streets. And what I'll do is I'll dump them into my console here. And on the following episode, you'll hear your voice on the show, man. Or you'll hear whatever your dumbass comment is, or your smart comment, depending on who you are. You'll see it on the show, or you'll hear it on the show. And you know what I'm gonna try to figure out too? I'm gonna figure out if I can get text at that line. Maybe I can do it now. Somebody can just text me to the line to the number 678-568-9011. Since I'm trying stuff out today, let's ride it. You know what I mean? See. Got a new member in the chat room. If you guys want to join the live interactive chat room, do so by clicking on that little thought bubble you see. Either if you're listening via Spreaker, the app, or my website, you'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Click on that. A couple steps later, you'll be inside the live interactive chat room. Shout out to Pass the Buck Experience. He says this is a first-time listener from Queens, New York. Yeah, New York checking in. Son, Dunny, God, B. Appreciate you listening, my man. So yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's all the business. Also, make sure you guys have my email address handy so that if you or anyone you know has a business and would like to partner with the show via an advertisement or sponsorship or both, you can email me at mike@onemikewithbigmike.com. Also use that for my fantasy football league as well. If you guys want to play fantasy football with your boy this year, we got some giveaways, some signed footballs for some from some NFL and college football ballers. Also, the One Mic with Big Mike T-shirts will be in by then. And also, I got a couple of these. Like, y'all see me every night. I got on a different New Era hat. I got a couple that's brand new, never been worn, still in the plastic in the closet, man. And you know what I mean? I like to ingratiate you guys with them for taking the time out of your schedule, because you don't have to. You know what I mean? There's so many choices for you. You don't have to take the time out to listen to my dumb ass every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Spreaker.com. Now, as far as the show goes, wait, let me check this. Let me check this stream situation now. Okay, it's just a link, so you got to click on it if it's on Facebook. We'll figure it out as the show goes on. We'll figure it out. As far as the show goes, speaking of the show, don't forget, we got a guest tonight, so we'll do On This Day at the top of the hour, or the following hour. On This Day being my daily segment where I take a look back into the annals of sports and give you guys some historical tidbits that maybe you can win an argument in the barbershop with, or if you end up on Jeopardy or Sports Jeopardy, you can win some loot with it or whatnot. And, my fee is 10%, just in case you're wondering. But at 7:30, my guest, big time guest today, man. Renee been out, big game hunting, with the big rifle. You know what I mean? I told her I wanted to holler at somebody for one of my favorite shows, Ballers, on HBO. It comes on 10 o'clock on Sundays. If you're not in the mix with that, do something bad to yourself. Ballers is an awesome show. It's only 30 minutes though, and it seemed like it could be more, but they pack a bunch of stuff into 30 minutes. But Omar Miller from the show Ballers, you may know him from the big dude from 8 Mile. You know what I mean? He's going to come on the show tonight and chop it up with me. Going to find out some stuff. Hopefully get some inside information on some spoilers on what's going to happen on the show, because I got questions. You know what I mean? I got stuff I want to know. Like, screw the interview part. And also, he has a podcast called The Ozone as well. So I want to talk to him about that. Especially, seeing the fact that he's kind of doing my show. I read the description to the show. I checked out a couple episodes, and I read the description right before the show, and it's like, I want to talk about all the things that people are scared to talk about. I'm like, wait, hold on, dog. If everybody's doing that, like if everybody's talking about the stuff that everybody's scared to talk about, that probably means no one's scared to talk about it. So yeah, I gotta find out what his deal is on that. Like, you already getting Hollywood money, man. Like, come on, man. Let me have mine, my little slice of the pie that I want. So anyway, that's gonna happen. I mentioned on Monday that we'd be talking to HBO Real Sports' David Scott on Friday. Well, he had a scheduling conflict, so we're going to reschedule that situation for Monday. So he'll be on to talk about the Olympics, which the opening ceremonies are going to be on Friday. So he'll join us. He did the piece on the most recent episode of Real Sports. They did the whole show on the Olympics, but they broke it up into like 3 different segments, and he did the final segment on what's happening or what's going to happen in China and what has already happened in China with the Summer Olympics. Now they're going to come back and get the Winter Olympics the next go around. So we'll talk to him on Monday. As far as today's show goes, I got some NFL stuff. I got some weird, like some miscellaneous stuff that I want to talk about. This just stuff that's on my mind. They ain't really got nothing to do with sports or anything like that. But just stuff that's kind of on my mind that I feel it's aging me and dating me, that I don't know about these things, that I can't wrap my mind around certain things. Also, of course, we got to talk about the NFL, man. We got the first NFL game of the season this weekend. Hall of Fame game. A couple dudes going in. I think Kevin Green, Brett Favre, Tony Dungy's going in. You know what? I'm kind of good on the Hall of Fame speeches. Like, the last one that I really sat down and watched was probably Curtis Martin, man. And that was probably I figured it was like a kind of a grand opening, grand closing thing, because that was the best one that I'd ever heard. It wasn't a bunch of crying and over emotional stuff and, all that stuff. It was like the dude just talking real stuff about life, about the stuff his mom went through, about, his feelings towards football. It was a real awesome speech. If you never had a chance to see Curtis Martin's induction speech, I would heavily advise it. And I got some stuff, a couple of little tidbits out of the NBA or whatnot. But what I want to talk about today is motivation. And by the way, speaking of motivation, I got to give you guys the question of the day. I didn't write it. I didn't put it on my notes, so I'm going to have to kind of like freeball it. the question of the day is basically LeBron made some statements about chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan. And the question of the day brought to us by Sports News and Brews is, can he actually catch said ghost? Or should he just like leave it alone? That's the question of the day. You can answer it in a bunch of different ways. You can answer it. And by the way, you know what I think about social media? Well, my thoughts on social media have kind of been reinforced that it's made everybody stupid. Like, no one reads. Like, we put Renee, it takes time to put the flyer up and the instructions on how you answer the question. Like, everybody just like the post, but nobody answers the question. And you answer the question and you put the hashtag one mic, what is it? Question of the day, QOTD, right? Is the hashtag. Now, in all fairness, the person who put the quote up didn't even do that. She answered the question and didn't even put the hashtag. So, yeah, whatever. I'm still gonna get on y'all. Like, just read the post, man. So you can answer it via social media. Just hashtag it. You know what I mean? Or you can call the sound off line, 678-568-9011. You can answer it there as well. Or you can, I don't know. I think you can talk to me via this YouTube situation, if I'm not mistaken. I think you can voice your opinion via this YouTube thing here that I'm doing, YouTube Live. Yeah, there's like a little space here for comments and whatnot. So you can do it there, or you can do it on Facebook. You can send me your stuff via Facebook, ONEMICWITHBIG. is the situation there. All right, now, to the show. I want to talk about motivation, like the one element of all this Jordan, LeBron talk that people are missing. Now, let me tell you first and foremost, what Mr. LeBron had to say. If I can find the damn article. I did a lot of, like, I maybe too much. I maybe overdid it today. I was just reading everything and trying to consume everything today. It's what I kind of do every day. But today I just kind of went in, just looking, because there's nothing really big going on. You know what I mean? So you look at SportsCenter, you see all the crazy, stupid stuff that they trying to drum up, and like, I just kind of like vomited in that quest. And I just started reading, man. And today I got a lot in today. But anyway, here's LeBron talking about where he's at. You know, he just won his third championship, first in the state of Cleveland, or excuse me, state of Ohio, city of Cleveland, in 52 years. So he says, he's talking Sports Illustrated, and he says, my motivation is the ghost I'm chasing, the ghost that played in Chicago. My career is totally different from Michael Jordan's. What I've done through is totally different. That doesn't make, excuse me, because I can't read, the illiteracy. What I've gone through is totally different than what he went through. What he did was unbelievable, and I watched it unfold. I looked up to him so much. I think it's cool to put myself in a position to be one of those great players. But if I can ever put myself in position to be the greatest player, that will be something extraordinary. That's a quote from LeBron James. And everybody took that and got stupid, as you usually do with this stuff, and got real lazy with it. Well, man, he just need to, man, he ain't gonna never catch Michael Jordan. First of all, Mike went to six finals, won all 6 of them. Now, had he not retired, he would have went to 8 straight, because of course we know what would have happened, or you guys know what would happen. He would have had 8 straight. LeBron had already lost like 4. All right. See, I try to not reinforce stupidity when it comes to sports fandom and sports viewership and sports conversation, because rational people look at that and say, you know what, each and every way you turn, scenarios are different. We're talking about Hall of Famers that played with Michael Jordan. We're talking about Hall of Fame coaches that coached Michael Jordan during that run. We talk about rule differences with LeBron now versus Mike then. There's so many different variables in that argument. That's where it has to stop. Now, if you look at it rationally, if you look at it from another perspective, I look at it as LeBron still in search of greatness, and sometimes I feel that the greatest players, the players who are the greatest and have seemingly accomplished everything, still need motivation. Michael Jordan still needed motivation. Even after he kept winning, he would take this little thing that someone said, or someone having a bad practice like Steve Kerr, and put his hands on him. Like, every little thing was looked upon as a source of motivation. Because sometimes I can only assume that sometimes it's just hard being that damn good. You know what I mean? Like, I would always make this joke when I was a kid about Michael Jordan, like playing the Nets or the Kings when Reggie Theus was there. It's like he knew getting off the bus that I'm about to bust some ass, straight up. And that was true for a good portion of the league with him. So knowing that, you got to find a way to do 82 over and over and over and over again. You got to find motivation. So I look at LeBron. LeBron has never, from my knowledge, spoken on this subject. It's been everybody else. You know, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. These conversations have been had by a lot of people, but very rarely, or if ever, I've never personally heard LeBron James come out and speak on his pursuit of being that guy. Now, here's where he's gonna have the problem. Before I move on to my other point, here's where he's gonna have the problem. Society has changed. You MFers don't appreciate greatness. Like, you want to pick people apart, and you talk about LeBron, his hair's receding, or he cried too much on the court, and this, that, and the other. Like, this society is built upon celebrating people's downfall more than it is to rejoice in someone's success. That's the real deal. So this is why LeBron will never get to that point. Not because of him, because when it's all said and done, if he maintains a certain pace, a normal pace, he might lead the game at the top of most, if not all, important NBA statistics. That's real talk. But he don't live in the age of Michael Jordan. We knew about Michael Jordan, what Michael Jordan wanted us to know about him. If you haven't read the Jordan Rules, which by the way, I gotta clear something up, because I heard something. It may have even been on Omar Miller's show last night. And I hear it all the time. People start talking about the Jordan Rules being the referees having a special set of rules for Michael Jordan. Wrong. If you read the book is not about that. The book is about the Detroit Pistons having a certain set of rules on how they defended Michael Jordan and how they would whoop his ass every time he tried to come to the cup. But over time, like a lot of other things, you hide good information in the book from dumb people. You know what I mean? And that's where it's at. It's in a book. The book is called The Jordan Rules, but that's not what it is. And over time, it's morphed into whatever people will want it to be. Like when you see Dwayne Wade get a call, you see Kevin Durant get a call that you don't think, Shelvin Mack might have gotten. Oh, look at that. That's them Jordan Rules right there. No, it's not. If you ever see LeBron go to the hole and get clotheslined, that, my friends, is the Jordan Rules. You see the difference? Yeah. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here on a Wednesday, on a hump day for you. Live on Spreaker, live on TuneIn, live on Blastfire, live on the One Mic with BigMike.com website. Don't forget at 7:30, I got my guy Omar Miller coming up. He's going to share the mic. Omar Miller from Ballers on HBO. Once again, like, does Ballers come on the same time as Power? Because I gave Power 2 seasons, and like storyline wise, I'm good. Yeah, it didn't quite do it for me. You know what I mean? So Power got me for a couple seasons, and I found better, more suitable accommodations for my Sunday TV watching. It used to come on Saturday, but now it comes on Sunday. But this situation here, this Baller situation, yeah, they really on a sneak tip. They get into some stuff that you could only imagine the NFL. It's like, man, damn. I didn't want to talk about that. Yeah, it's real. So anyway, getting back to what I'm saying about LeBron and him looking at this Michael Jordan thing, I think, in my opinion, way different than like the idiots at ESPN and the Skip Baylesses and the Stephen A's and all these people. Way different, man. Like, this is a dude. If you look at it objectively, LeBron James ain't got nothing else to prove. Nothing else. You know, and I've been waiting on this for a minute. Like, I was waiting on the point where LeBron was just gonna say, you know what, F it, I'm about to assault the league. Like a couple years ago, he was working on post moves and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, look, he got a couple of things that if he get that confidence and that jump shot, like you see it periodically, like it'll get wet, and he'll get confidence like he did in the finals, right? This year's finals. And then he gets in the position where he can start bullying dudes and create himself a go-to shot, a shot that he's comfortable in getting when he can't get all the way to the rim. Yeah, I said this like, I don't know, 4 years ago when he was in Miami, man, that this dude can mess around and be the only player since Oscar Robertson to average a triple-double. Because of his mentality and because of his physical ability to dominate. Yeah, man, we could see something that no one in this lifetime has ever seen. But for whatever reason, lazy people and people who for whatever reason just don't like the dude. Like, I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody who knows LeBron James. You know, but so for whatever reason, oh man, LeBron a punk. He a this, he a that. Look, man. Let LIG, man. You gotta let that go. Because in reality, man, you witnessing one of the greatest basketball players, if not the greatest physical specimen to ever lace up a pair of basketball shoes. And you'll go through your life, you're hating on the dude for no damn reason and miss out. You know what I mean? Try to find everything and nitpick and be, you know, one of Skip Bayless's cronies and start talking about clutch jeans and all this just real ridiculous foolishness. When inevitably, you know, you getting, like, as a basketball fan, you getting something that's worth your while, man. Straight up. And so when I talk about guys or people not looking at that situation or those comments by LeBron James this way, you knew what was going to happen, right? You knew former players was going to start speaking out. Man, hell no, man. You crazy as hell. All right. So one of Michael Jordan's former teammates, one B.J. Armstrong, which you would ask yourself this question, like, what the hell does B.J. Armstrong know about being great? I don't know. I mean, B.J. Armstrong was a very average to below average point guard, a spot-up shooter in the triangle. You know, and that's not a diss. That's exactly what he was. So the same way you wouldn't go get stock advice from the dude holding up the we'll work for food sign. You won't go get stock advice from that dude. I'm not sure why B.J. Armstrong feels like LeBron James should take advice on what it's going to take to be great from him. Just saying. You know what I mean? But anyway, he's talking to another great person, Chris Broussard, and trust me, my tongue is firmly implanted in my cheek when I say great and Chris Broussard in the same sentence. B.J. Armstrong says, quote, chasing a ghost is in make-believe land. That's far out, that's unattainable, that's something you can't achieve. This ain't no ghost. If you want to do it, there's a blueprint. It's possible. Wait, what? I thought you just said it was impossible. There's only one way to get there. It's not possible for him to do what Jordan did because the circumstances are different. Well, that's true. Everything is different. What is possible for him is to be bigger than every situation that's put in front of him, to dominate every situation that's in front of him. This is to LeBron James. If you want to be the best, get rid of comparisons. Get rid of all comparisons that are out there. That's what Michael Jordan did. Jordan realized that in order to be the best, you had to get rid of all comparisons. Is that it? No. When you compared Jordan to somebody else, it made him more and more upset. That was with guys who played before him, guys he was playing against, and guys in the future. Wait, what? He got upset every time the media got on TV and started comparing him to other people, end quote. See, this is, again, like, perspective is lost. I don't see the problem. When he says I'm chasing something, that means even if it's unattainable. I used to have a coach when I was in college, right? And we used to do conditioning drills. And after like the times, as we did more and more, and as the days went on, the times we had to complete the particular drill went down. And at one point, it got to a point of basically no one could finish within that time. No one could run, 10 100s in whatever time he was given. But the rationale was, if I don't lower it to that point, you won't try to push yourself to get it, even if it may be impossible. And that's the same thing I hear when I hear LeBron say, I'm chasing this goal. He didn't say, I'm trying to surpass Michael Jordan. I'm trying to be greater than Michael Jordan. He didn't say any of these things. He says, there's something still there for me to do in this game. And I can't get complacent. Let's keep it real. One time, LeBron is on the backside of his career. Or at very least, he's on the plateau. And the next evolution will be the downside. You know what I mean? And when you're him, if I'm looking at him, I feel like, yeah, you got to find a way not to stay complacent. It doesn't hurt that Kevin Durant chose to go to Golden State. I think that's that's some ill motivation for you, because everybody now they had a simulation today, and the simulation has the Golden State Warriors next year winning 83 games. I'll just leave that there and let you guys let that sink in. Yes, 83 games in a professional basketball season. This simulation, which must be broken, you know what I mean, has the Golden State Warriors next year winning 83 games. Think about it for a second. Just think about it for a second. And so, yeah, if I'm LeBron James and everybody's kind of already crowning these cats, shout out to Denny Green. Yeah, that's additional motivation. They're talking about he's in the gym at 6 a.m, getting it in. I'm all about that life, man. You know what I mean? Like, as someone who's like most of the people that are listening to this show, both of y'all, you know what I mean? We'll never understand or be able to relate to that level of greatness. That's why it's called greatness. And that's why it's that level of greatness, because everybody can't be there. Now, everybody can stand at the bottom of the stairs and judge it, which happens a lot. Too much for my liking. But very, very few of us, man, will get to witness that or even be in the presence of it. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? We don't, no one will understand, Michael Jordan's life. I remember as a kid saying that to myself. I remember saying something in school, I wish I could give Michael Jordan some truth serum and just sit down and ask him questions like, how does it feel, dude, to be the absolute best ever at something in life, and I still kind of feel that way today as an adult, cuz I just, the older I get, the more I'm willing to appreciate what I've seen. In my lifetime, dude, as a kid, as a very young kid, I've seen Larry Bird. I've seen Magic Johnson. I saw Michael Jordan come from North Carolina, dig? I've seen Kobe Bryant come from high school. I've seen LeBron James come from high school. I've seen, a good number of the greatest. I'm not talking about, the Charles Barkleys and the Dominique Wilkinses. No, I'm talking about the very good ones. I'm talking great. Even I remember Kareem retiring. I saw the end of his career. I didn't get to see, the monster years, the Lou Alcindor years, of course. But I saw the very, very end as a small child. Yeah, man. Appreciate greatness, man, and appreciate what you're hearing out of the mouth of LeBron James. He's chasing this ghost, this thing that everyone says is untouchable. It's a good chance he won't touch it, because, like I said before, things have changed. But I'm gonna have fun as a basketball fan watching him chase it. You dig? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com. Also streaming live video on YouTube. I'm also being heard live on TuneIn, on Blast 5, and my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. I'm going to take a break here. Don't forget about the question of the day. Do you think LeBron can catch that can catch that ghost, or should he just kind of just leave it alone? Answer that question today is brought to you by sportsnewsandbrews.com. That's sportsnewsandbrews.com. So we're going to come back. We're going to get the homie Omar Miller on the line, and we're going to chop it up with him. I'm going to ask him about this too. You know, I didn't consider asking him about it, but I'm going to ask him about it. So we'll be back, man.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is real.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Big Mike.
What up, dog?
What up, man? You tell me. What's the word?
Man, I don't know it, man. I'm just trying to hold it down. I'm trying to get where you at, homeboy.
Well, let's get to it.
No doubt. Give me about a minute and a half, man. I got the rest of this commercial and another one, man. I'll reset the show and I'll get you right up, my man.
All right, so you want me to call you back?
No, just hang on for like 90 seconds, cuz. Don't leave. Just hold on
Okay.
for me. All right.
Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online. For like a year, she couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Seems like it. Really?
Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show. If I can turn this damn mic on. Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show here on a Wednesday, or as we call it, Hump Day. I'm being heard right now on Spreaker.com, the app, TuneIn, Blastfy, and my website, OneMicWithBigMike.com. I'm also streaming live video, simulcasting on YouTube and Facebook. And right now, as promised, we're going to share the mic for a second here with the homie, man. He's the star of the new hit show, Ballers. Not even new, it's in the second season of Ballers on HBO on Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern. He's also the host of the Ozone podcast. Y'all welcome in real quick, man, Omar Miller.
Hey. Let me speak something.
What up, dog?
It may not be new, but it never gets old. That's what I'm here to tell you.
Word up, man. Congratulations on that third season, homeboy. Congratulations on continue to get checks, my man.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of positives going on. Checks, the exposure, the ability to tell stories about a part of society that people are really interested in but don't necessarily have access to.
Now,
a lot happening.
Let's get into that, man, because I mentioned it before you came on, man. This is a show that I could actually see why the NFL would be pissed off about it, man, because you guys talk about, you got into the CTE stuff, and you do it real casually. It's not really abrupt. Like, The Rock had to go get a CT scan one time. Now he's popping pills. Like, you were kind of like depressed a little bit, so you had the depression part. You got the money mismanagement. You got the homie Reggie and the hangers-on. There's a bunch of different NFL issues, man, going on now. What I want to ask you about, do you see this show attacking what Michael Bennett was talking about this past weekend about athletes, NFL players in particular, speaking out on social issues? Do you see the show taking that turn?
Well, I can tell you that as it stands, our show is a comedy that's there to suggest about a lot of different things in society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the athletes taking a stand, there's no way for us to predict or avoid any topic, because the interesting thing is, no matter how far our writers go, the true athletes in real life, their truth is always stranger than our fiction. So I think that this is a cool intersection of where art is imitating life, and life in a certain ways imitates art. You can look at it like on Sunday's episode, the defensive lineman hurt his Achilles and then decided that he wanted to disappear, so he went to hide.
Right, that was ridiculous.
Exactly, but then you see on Monday morning, Dodgers star Yasiel Puig got the word that he was getting traded and or demoted, and he didn't take the flight with the team and disappeared. Nobody knew his whereabouts.
Right.
So it's just such an interesting thing how this thing works.
Now, how'd you? By the way, you guys make sure you follow Omar at Omar Miller on Twitter, and is it Omar Benson Miller on Instagram?
Yeah. At Omar Miller on Twitter and at Omar Benson Miller on Instagram. Somebody already took my name.
I'm streaming live on YouTube right now. So right now, the people, if you're looking at it on YouTube, I got the split screen going up with me on one side and the still picture, you looking all dapper with the sport coat on in front of the Ballers logo. That's how I'm trying to do my thing. You understand?
Got to do it.
As far as you getting involved with the project, man, like, what's up with you having to gain weight? Like, you're a big, how tall are you, first of all? Because, like, I look at stuff on TV, and most of those cats are, like, midgets. So when I see you standing by somebody, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, is this dude, like, 6 foot or is he 6'8"? It's hard to gauge because the other dudes sometimes are so small. So how tall are you?
I am 6'6", maybe 6'5", probably 6'6". I ain't been better since I was a kid. So I can tell you, though, I'm a big dude. And, when going into the first season, the show's creator, Steve Levinson, asked me to gain weight so as to properly represent a man who's kind of lost and letting himself go. So somebody who's gone from being an athlete and stepping into the wilderness of not knowing what to do, not knowing what he's doing or where he's going or anything like that.
Now, how'd you go about doing that? Because I'm a big dude, too, and, like, I work out. I try to keep it in order, but at this point, my man, it's just straight maintenance. Like, I'm not going to show up tomorrow with no six-pack or none of that. It's just like, I've already told my wife, like, my deal with my wife was like, I got dibs on being the fat one already. You know what I mean? So it's all about maintenance. So with you, like, how'd you go about gaining the weight, first of all? And, like, is it going to be a problem if you ever need to, like, get it back off?
Well, I mean, if you can't see it, it's already off. You went about gaining it by doing all the standard things, eating late, eating heavier meals, lots of starch, a lot of meat and potatoes. Gaining weight isn't, I don't think, anybody's hardest thing to do. But then in the second season, my character goes back to playing. So if you watch seasons 1 and seasons 2, you'll see a difference in my size for sure. And that was a much harder scenario.
I'm just going to keep it real with you, dog. It's too many fine women on that show for me to be, like, checking on you, like, that closely. I'm just going to keep it real.
Well, hey, well, there it is.
Like, you're there, and on some real stuff, you like one of my favorite characters because, like, you're the character I think that's in every show. Like, you have, like, the guy, like the Ricky Jarrett character that you don't really know if you want to root for him or against him. But then you got, like, the character that everybody's rooting for, like, especially when you got the text with the chick showing her ass and all that, and it's like, my man, don't do it. So I'm checking for you, just not on the physical side of things. I'm speaking right now, Omar Miller.
Hey.
Say what now?
Hey, listen, I get you, brother. There's better things to look at, but I like to think that my material is a bit more compelling.
My man. I'm talking right now with the star of the hit show Ballers on HBO. Y'all check it out on Sunday at 10 Eastern. It just got renewed for a 3rd season, so that's a good look. He's also the host of the Ozone podcast, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter at Omar Miller. I want to know about your story, man. Like, you know, everybody has these crazy stories sometimes about how they cut their teeth getting into the acting business, man, and like the things that they had to go through before they actually hit it big. If you guys don't know, you might have seen Omar in things like 8 Mile and The Sorcerer's Apprentice and things like that nature. But before you got there, what were you doing, man? Like what was going on?
Well, I was in college. That's what was going on, and that's what actually led me to get to this point. Is because I was in school, and I went to school at San Jose State. I went to school to try to play baseball, to be honest. That was my number one passion and love, and stumbled into the theater. I stumbled into the theater chasing a girl, and a professor took me under his wing, and the brother told me he thought I had something special, and he started kind of forming my career and showing me my talent and how to take my natural talent and enhance that and make it more refined so that I could then in turn step to the next and step up in the world. And that's what I was given, man. I was given the opportunity then to audition for stuff. It was a blessing from the Lord because I got back to Los Angeles, being from Los Angeles. I got back to Los Angeles right at the right time when a lot of very interesting projects were casting, and the number one of it was 8 Mile. And I ended up getting in that movie, and the movie became a big fat hit, and it ended up changing my life.
Damn. Like, I'm looking for, like, the whole, like, I slept in the car for 2 months, and I was, like, a waiter. Well, first of all, let's go back. Did you get the girl?
Did not get the girl, thank God.
Well,
if I would have got the girl, I probably wouldn't have been focused on the career.
And look, her loss. What is she doing now? And she's not on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Oh, she's doing all right? You said she's doing all right?
Doing all right.
Wait, you said she's doing, well, she's doing better than me? Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, like that just went the total opposite direction that I thought it was gonna go in, man. Before we go on with the sports stuff, man, tell me about your show, man. I checked it out, and I was telling the people before you called in, man, you're doing my show, man. Like this whole concept of talking about the things that nobody wants to talk about. That's my hook, man. Like, you don't see me trying to get on Ballers, which by the way, if they got any extra deals, yeah, I'm saying if they got any extra situations, holler at your boy. You know what I mean? Not for
you should be. Well, you know me myself, man. I'm a sports fanatic, straight up sports junkie, and so is my brother. And we decided to put our 2 cents in to the sports talk arena to just tell it like it is and how we think it should be. And that's how we came up with the Ozone podcast, because it's unfair and partial sports. So we're primarily talking about sports. It seems like you're talking about a range of topics.
Yeah,
we keep ours focused on sports, and we getting in there and, you know, we're making things pop and telling you about the latest trades and talking NBA finals and football season coming up. We're talking about all kind of stuff. So, you know, that's what we're on. It's something that's dear to my heart. Now I'm in a good spot in my life where I can do things that I want to do, and that's a freedom that I really pray everybody has, you know, because it's good to just be able to do the things that you want to do as opposed to doing things you have to do. And talking about sports all day is something that I'm going to do regardless.
Absolutely.
So I might as well get a following about it and see if people agree or disagree with me.
Let me ask you about this, man. There's been a push here lately in the last couple of weeks because of the social climate for people to speak out. I mentioned Michael Bennett earlier talking about his NFL brethren, and months ago, you know, there was an issue with the Oscars, you know, in your realm of the world, or your part of the world, with the Oscars being all white in all the major categories. Do you at times feel that pressure being on a show that casts a hell of a lot of black people? Do you sometimes feel that pressure to speak out on these things?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, but I feel that pressure regardless. I don't even see it as pressure as much as I see it as a privilege and a responsibility.
Gotcha.
I believe that just like Scripture says, to whom much is given, much is required. So when you're in a position of any sort of power, you need to use that power for the greater good. And whether that's speaking about inequality or whether that's just speaking about something that's wrong, you know. And I think I applaud Carmelo, Chris Paul, LeBron. I applaud all those brothers who started off the athletes the way that they did, and they brought light to an issue that's important to us as a community who had supported them to make their hundreds of millions and billions of dollars collectively. And the same goes for any other field. You know, it's with art, it's a lot more tricky because it's subjective. Mm-hmm. But you can see what the pressure has done from people speaking out. For one, because there's a black woman who is the president of the academy.
Yeah.
And you see this year how inclusive they were about the invites to make sure that the voting body is more diverse. So I think we're going to see a lot of changes. It's an exciting time right now in the country because there's a lot of change, and I think, unfortunately, change hurts at times, and we just have to deal with that.
This is true. This is true. I'm talking right now with Omar Miller, the star of the hit show Ballers on HBO. You make sure you get your HBO subscription. First of all, stop stealing it. Get your HBO subscription. It's on Sunday at 10 p.m.
First off, stop stealing.
I'm here to do the public service too, man. Stop stealing your cable, man, and from your neighbor or whatever, and just pay for the thing so you can check out my man Omar Sunday at 10. He's also the host of the Ozone podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Miller and on Instagram at Omar Benson Miller. Where can they hear the podcast? I heard it on iTunes. Is it somewhere else that they can get it at?
Yeah, if you are an Apple user, you can catch it on iTunes, and if you're not, you can catch it on the Stitcher app. But if you just go to my Facebook page, you'll see that I always have a link up for it, and you'll always be able to check out, find the Ozone podcast and whatever else I'm up to.
What's the Facebook?
I'm a wily cat.
Omar Benson Miller is the Facebook as well, right?
I don't know. You'll see.
I think it's Omar Benson Miller from what I read. Speaking of the podcast, your brother's a fool, man. Is that your older brother?
Yeah, it's my older brother, man. He's a real rabble-rouser, that one. He's a very opinionated man.
Right. When's the last time y'all fought, man? Like, when's the last time y'all really just got into it?
Man, right now, last time we fought was a while ago. Now we keep our fights to vocal over sports. But they're pretty frequent.
Who won?
He's also my collaborator. We had a television show called The Weekend Fix. That was a travel program. That was on the Esquire network, and he produced that. So he's my producing partner and my brother. We keep it tight and just trying to create content for the masses.
Word up. So y'all grew up in L.A. Like, what's the worst thing that you and him did together that got you in some trouble, like with the parents?
Nah, man. Ain't no time for spreading that nonsense.
What you mean? That's what we
did
do around here.
Well, that's on you. You speak yours. Any dirt I do it quiet.
So okay, wait, hold on. I ain't talking about where
I'm a secret keeper.
I'm not asking you where the bodies are buried. I'm just talking about, like, did you hit a baseball through the window? Like, I ain't asking you about that. Like, I understand that code.
That was constant. I mean, there's 7 of us, so there's 6 boys and 1 girl. So you can imagine how wild the house was.
Did your sister ever have a date? First of all, if it's 6 of y'all and 1 of her, and you already 6'5", whatever your weight is now, did your sister ever have a date? First of all,
she had a date. She's happily married now, so she's doing all right.
Yeah,
we let her out. We just have to keep an eye on it because we know how men are because we're men.
You know that dude ain't gonna never get out of line.
So he can't get out of line. You know, he already knows what time it is.
Now, when you're not acting, when you're not podcasting, what's life like for Omar Miller, man? What do you do in your downtime?
You know, it's usually on the road. I enjoy traveling. I like seeing the world and absorbing other cultures. It really has made me a better person seeing the world, and I've been blessed enough to get to see the world on the studio's dime. So now that I got a couple nickels to rub together myself, I like to go out and see the world and explore.
Now, when they do those party scenes on the show, I'm curious about something. Like, how much directing actually goes on? Or they just like go on Instagram, just slide in a bunch of DMs and like, hey, y'all want to be in this party scene? Come to this pool that we got at this mansion and just let it rip. Like, how does that work, my man?
Nah, it's way more organized than that. You don't know who you might get sliding into DMs. So you know, there's a staff of producers and casting people who contact agencies and model agencies and get the people there. And some of the dialogue is scripted, some of it is improv, but you know, there's a lot of security risks and whatnot with the people that we have on set, so we have to keep everybody where and how we want them.
No doubt.
So, you know, it's orchestrated chaos, put it like that.
Yeah, it looks fun. looks way too much fun.
That's what it is.
For my age group. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is real stuff, man. I just kind of live vicariously through shows like that at this point. Like, I kind of reminisce on my days like that, but now it's just me in the recliner with the old lady. Like, man, I remember those days.
Well, I'm glad we're here for you, brother.
Yeah, of course, man. They're here for everybody. Sunday at 10. Ballers, Omar Miller on the line right now. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Miller. What else you got in the works right now, man? I know when things get good, man, people start coming at you for things. You know, I know you produce and direct and all those things. What do you got coming down the pipeline for the people?
Well, I got another movie coming out called, well, actually, I think right now it's called Blood Mountain. The movies are tricky because they always change the title, but look for a movie called Blood Mountain. Myself, Amelia Clark from Game of Thrones, and Jack Houston from Boardwalk Empire, and it's a film about the slippery slope of adultery, about an FBI agent. It's a true story about the only FBI agent in history to actually be convicted of murder. So it's a tricky movie that we shot with director Philip Noyce out in Kentucky. I'm writing some stuff, making some sales, and, I'm just hustling in general. I'm out here hustling.
I love to hear that,
but
man.
Right now I'm pretty much focused on our podcast and getting prepared for season 3 of Ballers, which we'll shoot this winter.
What can we get some spoilers on the One Mic with Big Mike show? Like what's gonna be happening? Like how is season 2 gonna wrap up? Like what's gonna happen? Like the most ridiculous thing that I saw last week was you talking about I'm practicing left tackle on the PlayStation. I'm playing with the tackle on PlayStation. Something no one has done in ever. No human being in life has ever. Like,
well, that's that commitment. That's that commitment of Charles Green right there.
What
the
did you
lean
learn?
making machine.
What do you
I tell you, season is, I can't give you many spoilers because I don't want to lose my job. But you can be sure that you don't know where it's going. This season is it's a roller coaster ride, and especially for me. My character, finds himself in some vulnerable positions again, kind of like he did last year, and he once again has to make some choices about his character and whether or not his integrity is going to lead him to the promised land.
Yeah, and I wonder about that, man, because your character in particular, because some of the other characters you can kind of, as far as if you're looking at it from a football fan's perspective, like the kid with the Cowboys, he's kind of the guy who's responsible for a lot of people, and he may not love football so much. Then you got the Ricky Jarrett character who's maybe coming to the backside of his career, but still believes he's Ricky Jarrett, and he can command certain things. But then you got you, and I'm when I watch, I'm curious to see what the progression of your character is going to be, because you're actually at the end. You just experienced what a lot of older players experience, the young guy coming in, and now you having to be the one to compromise the move from the left tackle to the right tackle, which means the next move is probably unemployment. So when I look at it, yeah, when you talk about being tested again, I see that coming because your character seems to be the one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kind of like the most, how do I want to put, emotional mobility. Like you're kind of going in a bunch of different places at a bunch of different times, and knowing like The Rock and what is that guy's name? That funny ass dude that's his partner on the show. What is his name, Omar?
Rob Corddry.
He is hilarious in everything, dude.
Yeah, Rob's a funny guy, man. He's got a long history, great body of work, really funny dude. For me, this is the upside, is that I've been forced and having the privilege to deal with a lot of insecurities and vulnerabilities. And in the world of such macho men who are so celebrated, it's great that that's put on my shoulders as an actor. So, there's adjustments that have to be made, and I think the story of Charles Green is maybe one that's less glamorous from some of the other characters on the show, but quite possibly I believe I have the best character on the show because of all the different stuff that my guy gets to explore.
Yeah.
And you'll see as the season progresses, there's a lot.
Yeah, man, he's the most complex. The last thing I got for you, and by the way, I'm talking with the star of the hit show Ballers. His name is Omar Miller. It's on HBO Sunday at 10, just got renewed for that 3rd season. He's also the host of the Ozone podcast, so you make sure you guys check that out on iTunes, or go to his Facebook page, Omar Benson Miller on Facebook, to get information on where you can check out the podcast. I was talking before you came on about this stuff with LeBron today. You know what I mean? LeBron saying that he's chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan, kind of finally coming out and I don't want to say admitting, but acknowledging that that is something that's important to him to be considered possibly the greatest player to ever play basketball. I want to, before I let you go, because I know you're a sports aficionado, I want to get your opinion on him saying those things, like verbally acknowledging those things today after finally winning his third championship and finally bringing one to Cleveland.
I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that LeBron has played this career with all these high expectations is really admirable. Because how many times has somebody been anointed as the next coming and then they fizzle and fall out?
Say that.
This guy's delivered. He's delivered to a city that was in desperate need of a win in general. I think that he'll always be chasing that ghost, no matter how many championships he wins.
Mm-hmm.
Because for those of us who watch Michael Jordan play, it's hard to imagine that anybody would find a way to beat him. And that this is where the generational argument is always tough, because it would be very difficult to see a Michael Jordan-led team lose to a LeBron James-led team.
Right.
But I believe that having his aspirations, as they always were, to be the greatest basketball player of all time, it shows that his mind is in the right place. The guy wants to win. And I don't know why. I mean, if you look at that man's stat sheet for the past couple of years in the playoffs, especially in the finals for the last 2 years, I don't know how anybody has anything bad to say. That dude, forget about it. His numbers, he's putting up video game numbers, man. I remember last year when everybody got hurt, he was putting up like 45, 17, and 12 every night.
Right.
This is insane. I've never seen numbers like that in any sport. So, I don't know. I think he's the man. I think he put to sleep all that who's the best player in the game nonsense, because there was a lot of people front-running to Steph Curry during the regular season. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting NBA season once again. So I hope he's getting some rest, because that dude lost a lot of minutes.
No, that dude ain't getting no rest. He getting up at 6 o'clock. The story came out today. He's up at 6 o'clock still working and still grinding, man. And see, that's why, like, the way
getting up at 6 and working and grinding still works, but that's different than playing games nonstop. That's different from the wear and tear, the travel, playing Olympics, playing Nationals, playing the extra season that is the NBA postseason.
Right.
It takes so damn long.
Yeah.
The NBA really needs to stop playing with that. And, yeah, man.
Yeah, you go tell those billionaires to stop getting money. I'll let you do that.
And it ain't going to happen.
Right. See, that's why me and you, we can be friends, because you're a person I talk about all the time on the show, perspective, man, and understanding. Like, you can have this false hate for people that you don't know, but at the end of the day, if you're a sports fan, if you're a basketball fan, you got to appreciate the greatness that you're witnessing, because it don't come along but every so often. Like, you can start talking to me about Ben Simmons and all these people. You can talk to me about a lot of people that were and are very good. But when you see greatness, the very, very pinnacle of the mountain, you got to just appreciate it for what it is, man, and just keep it moving.
What can you do? Why would you? Yeah. Why would you? I don't. You know. Why hate?
Yeah.
This guy deserves every accolade that he's received, because he showed up in the big moments. And for me, that's all I want to see. I want to see clutch.
Yeah.
And that guy has been showing up.
I
Big
blame.
Mike, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
You got it, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right, now. I hope everyone enjoys the show, and I'll catch y'all soon.
You got it. That's Omar Miller, you guys. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Miller, and on Instagram at Omar Benson Miller. And check out his podcast, The Ozone, on iTunes. And if you want to check out where else you can get the podcast, go to his Facebook page, Omar Benson Miller on Facebook. Yeah, man, that's a cool dude, man. Thank you to Renee for hooking that up for me. I can't think of the gentleman she spoke to. I think his name is Craig, that deals with Omar and his PR stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate them for handling that for me. And I hope I held up my end of the bargain. Pass the Buck Experience. He's in the chat room. You guys can join him in that chat room if you like by clicking on that little thought bubble you see on my on the streaming player. If you're listening via Spreaker, or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. I'm live right now on TuneIn and Blastfy, as well as on YouTube via Facebook. I got the Facebook thing jumping off as well. I'm not sure how it's going, to be honest with you, but we're trying something new today, trying to get, multiple eyes on the situation. So if you can't see it on Facebook, just go to YouTube, search for the number one MIC, WITHBIG MIKE, and make sure you subscribe as well, because Renee has cracked the whip and told me that we have to get subscribers on YouTube for some weird reason. So make sure you do that. So I'm going to take a break, come back. We got to take a look back and do the daily segment on this day, as well as we can continue the conversation. I can react to some of the stuff that Omar had to say about, his character, Charles Green, in the show Ballers. And I also want to talk about the NCAA, or as I like to call them, the NCAA holes, and some of the things that are going on within that ranks, and some other, and some NFL storylines as well. So we'll do all that next right here on One Mic with Big Mike.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different. One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism, maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Back for hour number 2 here on this hump day. During the break, I had to check out the see what this YouTube stream looking like. It seems to be going all right. I'm not sure if anybody is watching it. Like we've had a lot of maybe I shouldn't have messed with it. We had a lot of views and things of that nature on Facebook. I shared it on Facebook and all those things. So I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Either way, I want to say thank you to the homeboy Omar Miller, man. Real cool cat, man. He's real down to earth. Appreciate him taking some time out of his schedule to join me on the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app, and One Mic with BigMike.com, spelled the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE.com, as well as on Blastfy and on TuneIn. Now, if you didn't get a chance to hear the interview or you didn't get a chance to hear the entire first hour of the show, don't fret. Every episode, and in this case, the video will be archived on YouTube. The audio will be on iTunes, as well as iHeartRadio and the other outlets that I just previously mentioned. I want to remind you guys that we do have a question of the day, and I see someone has called the sound off line at 678-568-9011. I can't do it right now. I got to do it on the next show. I'll play you guys what they said on the next show. But you guys can call as well. You can answer the question of the day, brought to you by sportsnewsandbrews.com, which is, can LeBron, can he catch that ghost, that Michael Jordan ghost, or should he just leave it alone and play ball? I know a lot of you probably have that opinion. I don't share it, but you're more than welcome to share yours. Like I said, once again, via my sound off line, 678-568-9011, or via my live interactive chat room if you're listening via Spreaker or you're listening via onemicwithbigmike.com. Just click on that little thought bubble icon and you guys can be all up in the live interactive chat room. I got a brand new member of the chat room, Past the Buck Experience, is in the chat room right now. You guys can join him in there. What else? Oh, you can also comment on Facebook. My Facebook page is ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. You can also do so via YouTube. I'm looking at here. Yeah, they have like little. Yeah, you can comment on YouTube somewhere. Yeah, there's like a little chat thing on YouTube as well. So, whatever. Renee's telling me I picked the wrong damn day to do this. Whatever. Gotta do it sometime. Either way, you can go and chat with me on YouTube as well. The YouTube is One Mic with Big Mike once again. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. And by the way, if you guys want to partner up with me via a sponsorship or you want to run some advertising on the show, feel free to contact me at mike@onemicwithbigmike.com, and either myself, more than likely Renee, because Renee got like a magical touch with people and I'm not so good at that kind of stuff. So we'll contact you and she'll break down the different packages that we have depending on what your budget may be, your advertising budget may be. We got a little something for everybody. But until then, let's take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right. On this day in 1921, due to a technicality, 8 Chicago White Sox players accused in the Black Sox scandal are acquitted. However, Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain, Kennesaw Mountain's here in Georgia. His name was Kennesaw Mountain Landis, throws them all out of baseball. You remember the Black Sox? Well, you might not remember because you weren't alive, but if you know about the Black Sox scandal, a couple of players on the team decided to get together and throw the World Series. That's why baseball's so serious about that. Like their Pete Rose stuff, and people say, well, damn, it's been so long. Why the hell can't he get back into Major League Baseball? Well, because of this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they spoiled it for Pete, or Pete spoiled it for himself, whatever. On this day in 1949, the Basketball Association of America and the National Basketball League merged to form the National Basketball Association. So the ABA and the NBL got together, and now we have the NBA. And a bunch of tall brothers putting on shows and getting paid a bunch of money. On this day in 1989, the Cincinnati Reds send a record 20 men up to the plate with a record 16 hits in one inning as they score 14 runs in the first inning. You know what? Was that against the Braves? Somebody check on that. On this day in 1984, Mary Lou Retton won a gold medal at the Los Angeles Summer Olympics and subsequently became the first woman to appear on a Wheaties box. What is that girl's name? Is her name Giles or Biles? That little bitty 4 foot tall black girl that's like the beast of gymnastics. Like, I thought it was like Dominique, whatever her name was, but this little girl is like, she's 19 and she can get it. You know what I mean? Not that way, but she can do her thing on the gymnastics tip. And finally, on this day in 1989, Rickey Henderson, he sets the American League mark for 50 steals in 9 straight seasons. You know, back in the day when people stole bases, they actually did that. Kids, it was a long, long time ago, before you. Anyway, that is your Hump Day edition of On This Day. All right. Let's get back to some sports. In the first hour, I started off talking about the show. The theme of today's show is about motivation. You know, and sometimes people can get motivated to do terrible things too. You know, I'll talk about a little bit of that today as well. But in the first hour, before I got on with Omar Miller of the show Ballers, I was talking about LeBron James. and everyone just like, man, he crazy, man. I don't know what's wrong with him. He trying to catch Michael Jordan. No, he's not. That's not what he said. He said, but I'm chasing that ghost. And he talked about, feeling privileged to be in a position where he could be considered one of the greatest players of all time. But, he still wants to strive to become the greatest player of all time, the single greatest player of all time, based on consensus. I mean, Michael Jordan isn't even, the overwhelming, what's the word I'm looking for? Unanimous. He's not even the unanimous choice for player of all time. You got people who will talk about Wilt Chamberlain and Lou Alcindor / Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know what I mean? People talk about Oscar Robinson. Or is it Robertson? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Big O. So it's not really a unanimous thing, but it's more prevalent than not that you will hear people talk about Michael Jordan being the greatest basketball player of all time. And for some reason, I don't think I said it on this show, on another show that I was on, I talked about how the standard became 6 championships when Bill Russell got like 11 of them joints. You know what I mean? It's like, and I don't know, maybe that's because people know that, no one will ever even get close to that. Maybe that's what it is. That people say, all right, what's an attainable number? Tim got 5, Kobe got 5, maybe LeBron will get 5. LeBron's on what, 3? He's got a couple more years on his back, as they would say about a lady of the night. Yeah, I think so. And then you know what? Talking about the B.J. Armstrong comments where he was like he hears everything, and anytime he's compared to somebody, he would get angry or whatever. The other day, everybody probably saw the video of Michael Jordan hitting those jump shots and denying those little bratty kids of getting free shoes. Well, the other thing, I think it was the same camp. He was asked by one of those same bratty little kids about Space Jams 2. A couple months ago, we found out that LeBron James will be starring in Space Jams 2, or Space Jam 2, however it's said. And Michael Jordan was asked who he thinks, should play the part. And like he didn't go, like homie didn't go Kobe. He didn't go, like, who else could it be? Like, who else could it, because you don't have to be, in prime athletic shape anymore, CGI and all that kind of stuff. Either way, he didn't say LeBron. He said Blake Griffin, who, by the way, is a brand Jordan client or endorser. LeBron is Nike. There is a difference. Oh, and you know what? We'll talk when I get to my NCAA stuff. We'll talk about the difference in the two. Yeah, he said Blake Griffin. That was weird. And I think that's one of those things where he's done that in the past. You remember when people was talking about Vince Carter was the next coming, and Michael Jordan very, very, blatantly said, yeah, he'll never be me. Yeah, he don't have enough heart. I think it was the words he used. Yeah, man. Like, this dude ain't that. You know what I mean? And he understands that, with LeBron getting more and more, with people getting more and more comfortable acknowledging this dude, man, and acknowledging his greatness. He's coming. And I think for all the people who don't see it happening, like in my mind, and Omar Miller said it in the previous segment, in my mind, guess what? Michael Jordan will now and forever be the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. But me and nobody will get into an argument. Like, let's just project LeBron out some. We ain't gonna get into no argument if you say LeBron is. I'll understand why you say that. I just know why I say Michael Jordan. And when you talk about, the motivation in him saying that, like, what else is there for him to prove, man? Not to himself. Like, he damn near did the impossible. Cleveland got a championship, man. You know what I mean? The Cleveland Cavaliers are the NBA champions. Just let that roll around in your brain case for a minute. You know what I'm saying? That's damn near doing the impossible. And it's almost funny the way we talk about other athletes and we admire them for the things that motivate. We admire Michael Jordan for being as petty as he is, because that's what it is. It's pettiness. You know what I mean? You get real petty. We admire Tom Brady for crying. during the Brady 6 documentary about being passed over until the 6th round. You know, he still holds that chip on his shoulder, and it makes him such a fierce competitor. You know, you always hear that, right? And I remember as a kid hearing Michael Jordan talk about the game of golf and hearing him say, I love golf because I know it's something that I'll never beat. Like, who says that? You know what I mean? It's something that I know I'll never beat. So I love it. Not like, man, I can't stand this damn thing. I'll never beat it. I love it. That's the inner competitor that he is. And I think it's why people started making that separation between he and LeBron, because LeBron actually has a damn life. He goes and watches his kids play basketball. He acts like a dad on the sideline. He does his business stuff, and he got his boys with him. You know, LeBron actually does like real life stuff, and is still great at basketball. And we feel like we want our stars to be what? You know, totally committed in all times, doing one thing at all times. Nah, man. For my money, I think it's more impressive that someone can juggle all that. To be a regular person, not a regular person, but to be as normal could possibly be for somebody in his position, and still be awesome. You know what I mean? Still be the very, very best. That's an accomplishment in and of itself, man. You know what I mean? Most of y'all can't even chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. You know? But yet, this dude gets the criticism. Speaking of walking and chewing bubblegum, you know what? Has come to, has been brought to my attention, but not my full attention, so I still don't know what the hell's going on. Like Pokemon. Like, I know about Pokemon, like what it is in the television show, but this thing that people are doing now, my guy Rob Calloway was out, I guess, he go running at Stone Mountain. I guess he, in my mind, I just tell myself he want those slave owners that's on the side of that mountain, those KKK boys on the side of that mountain, to see him running and knowing they can't catch him. they can't do anything about this black man running, doing all this damn running around here. But anyway, and he said some dude walked up to him and said something to him, but he was like real mad that this dude was playing Pokemon Go. I have no earthly idea what this is. And the more I hear about it, I think I'm happy. Like, I think I'm like really, I'm joyful that I'm ignorant in this manner, because I think what it sounds like is people are really, really stupid about this stuff. Like, some dude ran up a $4,000. Some dude at the Olympics ran up a $4,000 phone bill on Pokemon Go. I don't know how that works. You know what I mean? I don't know how that worked in particular, or what you have to do, but it sounds very, very stupid. And if someone, like you guys, if you want to, you can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter and Instagram is at onemicwithbigmike.com. You can explain to me what this Pokemon thing is, because trust me, I'm not going to go Google it. I'm not going to spend the time to do that. Like, this is the type of information that someone has to give it to me, and then I still might not take it. You also can get inside the live interactive chat room if you click on the thought bubble that you're listening to the show on, if you're listening via Spreaker, the app, or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You can click on that little thought bubble and jump right on in the damn chat room and tell me about this freaking Pokemon Go. Is that what it is, or is this Pokemon? Because apparently some dude is going to win, some dude who has found all the Pokemon in America. They're giving him a free trip around the world, because there's more, apparently, around the world to gather or collect the rest of the Pokemon. Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't give you that. that 4 minutes of your life that I just stole, I can't give it back, and I apologize. I just, like, for whatever reason, it just hit my mind that I don't know about this thing, and I think it's for the best that I don't. That I stay completely ignorant in this endeavor. You know what I mean? Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, LeBron. But moving on from LeBron, because I think I've beat that horse enough. That, look, let's be real about this situation and understand, that it's a good thing for us as basketball fans when our sports figures are motivated. You know what I mean? They're going out and they want to continue to get better. Okay, Renee is talking to me in the chat room, and she's saying the app is supposed to get people off the couch and get people out in the real world. Oh, I think they failed, is what it sounds like. Like, Cass is getting, like, one kid got stabbed. You know, Cass is about to get run over by the damn car. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stay on the couch. If it come down to that, you know what I mean? Like, Pokemon Go got little suburban white kids walking into the hood looking for Pokemon so they can get jacked and hooked on heroin. That's a generalization. I probably should. Whatever, man. I'm an idiot. Yeah, get people out the house. Anyway, I didn't want you to tell me, Renee. I wanted somebody else to tell me. I'm just going to assume you're wrong about this. The app is designed to get people out the house. That's ridiculous. You know what's designed to get people out the house? A football, a basketball hoop, and a basketball. That's what those things are designed to get your ass out the house. Not a damn game on a cell phone. That's ridiculous. Yep, I just heard myself. And by the way, get off my damn lawn. In the world of the NFL, Cowboys quarterback Kellen Moore, backup quarterback, broke his damn foot. So now, like, everybody who, like Nick Foles, who got cut by the Rams a little while ago, a couple of days ago, looking for a gig. Everyone's favorite dog fighter, Mike Vick, is like, what? Someone needs a quarterback? And apparently he's telling Josina Anderson about how he's working out so hard and he wants a second chance at things. He wants a final chance at things. And so, like, as we talk about, like, motivation in this show, like, Michael Vick is a cautionary tale. He's a cautionary tale of when someone can just rolls out of bed with as much talent as he did, but isn't motivated to be great at what he does. Time catches up with you, and life comes at your ass fast. He spent a couple years in the Bing, bounced around a couple teams, had a decent season with the Eagles. A lot of people want to characterize it as great. Go back and look at that season. There was like a 4-game stretch where he had like an amazing 4-game stretch. But outside of that, the season was average at best. Then he bounced around and he got older. He got older and slower. People were able to catch him now. He's still fast, but now he's like normal NFL fast. When before he was like outer body, another being type fast. You know what I mean? So now he's in a position where it's like, oh, I don't want it to end like that. You know what? You know what's crazy about the NFL sometimes? You don't get to choose. Like when you had the opportunity to choose when you was in Atlanta and then admitted to not working hard, you admitted to not studying the game. And then what's crazy is when he was in New York with the Jets, did the same thing. Whoever was the starter, was Sanchez, got hurt, and he had to go in. And in the locker room, because apparently he felt compelled to tell everybody this, that he didn't study the game plan during the week because he didn't think he was going to play. And now he's at a situation where he says last year with the Steelers, same thing. He wasn't ready because he felt he was feeling salty that no one called him earlier. Before Mike Tomlin called him and asked him to come in and be backup to Ben Roethlisberger. And then he came in with an attitude and felt slighted that people, kind of like slighted him that they didn't call him earlier, so he didn't work as hard. This is stuff that's coming from him too, by the way. This is not me, I'm not insinuating this. I'm not making it up. All these things I'm talking about, he said he's on the record as saying these things. And sometimes it's like, man, come on. I know people, like me in particular, like I want people to be able to keep it real. But that's not keeping it real. That's keeping it dumb. Because no one needs to know that. No one needs to know that, that you didn't prepare. You just played poorly. But he says, like, I wasn't prepared, but I'll study my butt off this time. Like, he's always that dude, that after the fact dude. I remember seeing an interview with him when Chris Carter was on Inside the NFL. And I think it was Chris Carter, asking him about all the stuff that Peyton Manning does at the line of scrimmage and the freedom that he has with the offense. And then Mike says to Chris, man, yeah, I think about that all the time, man. And if they ever gave me that opportunity, I'd be studying all the time. And I'm like, hold on, that's the cart before the horse. Like, you're supposed to study first, and then the offensive coaches trust you with running the offense. It don't happen in reverse. Like, Mike, okay, we're gonna give you the keys to the car. You ready? Nope. But I'm about to get ready. Wait, what? And now, this is where we're at. Like, I'm not like a lot of people. Like, the people who are still like on that dog fighting stuff, you gotta LIG, man. You gotta just let it go. It's over. That's done. Like, my position on athletes and the things that they do off the court or off the field is, it comes down to something real simple for me. Will he still play? And that was my only issue with Mike. He went to jail for 2 years, and you know, as critical as I've been at so many different times about who he was as a player and who he should have become, who I think he should have become, I still want to see the dude play ball. I still think he was a ball player that it was like must-see TV. It was just frustrating to me that he wasn't better than he was. You know, that he relied so much on his natural gifts to perform, not ever having the foresight to understand that at some point my position is one of throwing the football. I heard him still today. I heard him last week before last on the Dan Patrick Show, talking about how proud he is of that quarterback rushing record, and that no one else will get there. And I'm like, good. Like, if you're the fan of the Carolina Panthers, or you're a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, you should be like, good. My quarterback shouldn't be running the ball that much. In a league that begs you to throw the football, you shouldn't. It should be a last resort type thing. And if you're unfortunate enough to be a Cleveland Browns fan, same goes for you with RG3, right? Yeah, but the fact that he's so proud of it, and if you look at the dude whose record he broke, and if you read about that guy, he was terrible. Every year he came to camp, I can't remember his name, but the story is that every year he came to camp, they would beg him to switch positions because he couldn't throw the ball worth a damn. That's why he ran it so much. And that's why the yardage is what it was before Mike Vick broke the record. It's not a prestigious record. It just sounds good. But in reality, I used to talk about it all the time with people down here in Atlanta, man. That, what do you want? You want to go to the Dome and be entertained? Or do you want a quarterback that's going to win football games? That's going to do the things that quarterbacks can do, that quarterbacks should do. Not sporadically, but consistently. And not brag about it when you get in the press conference. Like that game after they beat the Miami Dolphins, I think Mike threw for like 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, or something real crazy. And he's like, see, I told y'all I could throw the ball. That's one time. Like, you can't do that. And now we're here. Mike's a grown man in the twilight of his career, possibly at the very end of it, if no one calls him. I mean, Tavares Jackson just got his, I don't know what they were, domestic violence charges. He apparently was accused of pulling a gun on his wifey during an argument. His version of it was, she said she was going to stab me. I said I'd shoot you, or I'll shoot you, or whatever. Well, the DA said they didn't have enough evidence to move forward. So I guess maybe now, if he ever gets back into the league, he's still going to have to deal with Goodell on that. So we don't know how that's going to go. You got Nick Foles out there. What's the other kid's name? Excuse me, Matt Castle. Mike, like the pool is mighty shallow. So yeah, I ain't saying he won't get a shot. He's talking about he running a mile every other day. Like, that's not football training. And I mean, I can tell you this from experience. Like, running distance does nothing for you on the football field because it's so aerobic. It's so start and stop, spurts. That's why people talk about this thing called football shape. And you know what? When I come back, I'm gonna take a break here in just a second, and I want to come back and I want to talk about being in football shape, because we're seeing a rash now of injuries the last few years, man, and practices are fewer, right? They're less intense, supposed to be, but for whatever reason, man, people are dropping like flies. I mentioned Kellen Moore, his foot. Odell Beckham got spiked the other day. The kid from Georgia that's up in Chicago, Leonard Floyd, had a situation. So when I come back from the break, in the last segment of the show, I'll talk about that. And then probably after it's over, they'll probably scold me about not doing the Facebook Live thing. But whatever. We'll do it next on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Heard on Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com. Make sure you guys, if you're listening, to click that little heart button so I can get my like stuff situated. Also, make sure you follow me on Spreaker as well. Sign up for your free Spreaker account, just like signing up for anything else, like Facebook or not Facebook, Facebook and Twitter and all those things. Then search for my show, One Mike with Big Mike, and then follow me, please. I'll be right back.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
I'm in almost every school bus classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry.
There's enough food in this country to feed everybody.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger.
Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One mic.
All I need is one mic.
That's weird. Welcome back to the One Mike with Big Mike show. Here to wrap up this Hump Day edition of the show. Being heard via Spreaker.com. Spreaker has an app as well for all your mobile devices. Also being heard on TuneIn, Blastfi.com, all live, and as well as on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. If you guys want to be a part of the show, I welcome you to. You can do so via the live interactive chat room. Just click on that little thought bubble that you see on the streaming player if you're listening via Spreaker, or if you're listening via my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Also, you guys can chat with me. I'm streaming live, trying something new out today on YouTube. So search for my YouTube or go to my Facebook page. ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE is the Facebook page. YouTube, I'm at One Mic with Big Mike. You guys can also, looks like they have a little chat screen here as well. I figured out what I may have done, actually, what my misstep may have been. I think what I can do is I can embed this into Facebook to where it's not like a clickable thing where it'll take you away from Facebook to YouTube. I think that was my problem. Yeah. And then it'll just stream live on YouTube the way it would be if I was just doing Facebook Live. Still working out the kinks, ladies and gentlemen. Still working out the kinks, man. Also, make sure if you didn't get a chance to hear, if you missed any portions of the show, you can use any of those platforms that I mentioned earlier, as well as YouTube, of course. The video will be archived there, and audio will be archived on iTunes and iHeartRadio as well. Like I said, as well as the other platforms. I was talking about the NFL, so I'm going to wrap up these NFL stories real quick because I want to talk about the stuff I have for the NCAA as well. Trent Richardson, remember that name? Former Alabama running back. Yeah, cut. A couple months ago, he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame. Pretty hard to do that from what I hear. Rumor is, hard to make it there when you don't play. You're not on the team. Apparently, they gave him an explanation. They had to cut him, saying he may be back, but they had to cut him to make room for a wide receiver that they just signed. So apparently, what that tells you is like when you're watching like Survivor. Yeah, you're at the bottom of your alliance when you're the first one they vote out. Cause yeah, dude, yeah, kickers could have gone, but no, they chose old Trent. Came into camp all in shape and lost some weight. Ain't nobody care. The team just lost 220 pounds. What else happened today? I mentioned Kellen Moore already. Rolando McClain. Yeah, we found out that his problem goes way beyond weed, man. That dude is on that drink. On that purple drink. And he's addicted to it, apparently. And he gained like 40 pounds. He's done. That dude, like, he's had bouts with, like, just being unmotivated to play football. I mean, didn't the Cowboys that got him out of retirement? You know, he went to the Raiders and the Ravens, and at some time in between, he retired 1 or 2 times, and the Cowboys got him, and he played well. But then, I guess life just happened, man. Life just happened to the kid, man. Just so happened, it's crazy. I was watching on Viceland, my favorite channel, one of my favorite channels, Michael K. Williams, the dude that plays Omar on The Wire. Everybody knows Omar, right? He's got a show on Viceland called Black Market, and he kind of travels around the world, and he just kind of documents these criminal activities. Like one was like carjacking in New Jersey. He went to South Africa where these guys are illegally fishing this certain type of fish. He's going to New York to investigate and profile illegal poker games and illegal gambling. And last night the episode was about that drink, that purple drink. And man, like, dude, like, man, sometimes, like, I say this thing all the time, like, especially about my white brothers. It's like, man, like, white people don't have a threshold, like, where it's too high. You know what I mean? Like, if you ain't, like, an inch away from being in the morgue and wearing a toe tag, you're not high enough when you're white. Like, I remember there were stories about, like, dudes, I mean, the news was telling you to make sure you keep an eye out on your HVAC unit, because kids was going out there and, like, cutting them and huffing the Freon from it to get high. Like, man, come on. There's a stuff called crocodile that apparently it eats your body from the inside out. Like, dudes is in the hospital, and it's like the most gross thing ever. You can see their bone. You understand? And, like, last night, these cats is, like, dropping, like, cold, like promethazine pills into the purple drink to get, like, extra high. One dude was just throwing up his guts, and they was talking about, one dude was talking about he had a heart attack, and he beating on his own chest to get his heart to start back beating. I'm like, man, how important is it to get that high? Like, what are you escaping? What are you trying to escape? I mean, apparently life. You're trying to, like, end your whole situation with some cough syrup and some Sprite. And I learned, like, the terminology. Yes. But anyway, that's Rolando McClain's story. He didn't show up to camp, the Cowboys camp. They put him on some list. They hadn't cut him for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because Jerry Jones feels like, you know, this is a kid that he wants to, you know, try to help. And, like, I'm all about that. Like, while all y'all and all these folks running around here talking about people need help with weed, and Alden Smith is in rehab for weed, and Randy Gregory is in rehab for weed, get out of here. I mean, you want to know how I feel about weed? Look at that scene on Half Baked when Dave Chappelle goes to rehab. Just listen to what Bob Saget says to him about him talking about he's hooked on weed. Yeah, it has something to do with putting your mouth on other men's genitalia for the product. Yeah, ain't nobody doing that. Alden Smith just an idiot. You know, making an anonymous video where he says his name where he's using, like, everyone who knows him recognizes his voice. And then he raps up, just in case you don't recognize his voice, he says his name at the end. That's just being idiotic. Randy Gregory has told people, before he was drafted, that he struggled with depression, man, and the weed helped him. But this kid, Rolando McClain, is on some, like, that's some serious stuff, man. And maybe, people are criticizing Jerry Jones for not cutting the dude. And I can only assume that it's not about football, because he's suspended for 10 games. You feel me? Like, he's out of here for 10 games, so he's not going to really have an impact on whether the Cowboys succeed or fail this season. So it would seem like cutting him wouldn't be a big deal if it was something else, but it almost seems as though Jerry Jones may know something that we don't know, man. This kid may be struggling with something, man, and in order to try to help him not lose his life because of whatever he may be struggling with, Jerry Jones might just be like, you know what, I'm not going to cut him, man. I want to keep him close just in case. And so I was talking about also these injuries that are happening, man, and some of them are minor, like the Odell Beckham thing. Is minor. He caught a cleat to the leg, bled a little bit, and people act like, his leg got amputated. But I've had this theory, man, about this stuff since a few years ago. Like, right when they came out, when that work stoppage ended, and they came out with these new practice rules. This is something about football that I've learned about football, playing in my youth through high school and college, that football is something that you've got to, when you talk about football shape, it's not just about being able to breathe, calmly, getting in shape cardiovascularly, but you got to get your body in shape for the contact. And the only way to do that is through contact. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you ever seen one of those MMA, UFC dudes train, they do that to their bodies. They callous their bones. So that when, like, they're getting kicked, like those leg kicks in the shins, and they're getting, like, elbowed, they callous their bones to be harder. Because, obviously you can do that. The more you hit your bones on something, your body is going to naturally react, and it's going to harden. And they do that to their bones. And I'm not a doctor, and I ain't staying a Holiday Inn suite last night either. But I feel like people trying to preserve their bodies are actually doing themselves more of a disservice, especially now with these advanced training methods and a lot of the supplements that are being used. Like, if you ever take creatine or whatever you call it, or however you pronounce it, look on the back of the bottle. It tells you got to drink an abnormal amount of water and fluids. You have to. You know what I'm saying? Because it dries your body out. And a lot of the things that we're talking about, getting people like, pulling pectorals and ACLs and Achilles and those type of things. Like, just imagine a dried out rubber band. How easy it is when you pull it is to snap. Like, these are my own little concepts. You see guys who guys aren't used to being hit because they don't hit anymore in the league. And I'm not saying like dudes need to be getting like crunched, because that's kind of productive, but I think there's some sort of balance in there where you can get your body ready as well, so it doesn't feel that shock. Somebody was talking about on Facebook the other day, like kids falling out at football practice, man. And I look around, I'm like, damn, is it any hotter than it was when I was a kid? But the thing is, it's the same concept, where we was out all the time. Like, the whole summer. You spent the whole damn summer outside in the heat at the basketball court or somewhere. You went in the house all damn day playing video games. Our mamas wouldn't allow that stuff. But now, like, you got a kid that's been inside all day, and then the shock to his body when now he's got to go outside and run and got a helmet on and shoulder pads. Like, if you never worn shoulder pads and helmets, man, it's brutal during the summertime. It's a brutal situation. I've seen people like hyperventilate with a helmet on. The helmet's open in the front, and you can breathe out of it, but they feel enclosed because they're not used to it, and they start hyperventilating like they can't breathe. They can't keep it on their head. So I look at this kind of stuff, and I see this stuff happening in the NFL, and I'm like, man, and then there's no way out, because these geniuses said to themselves, you know what we're going to do? We're going to enter into this 10-year agreement and have no available opt-out the whole entire time and call it labor peace. You tell me. You watch the NFL, I would assume. Has there been any peace? There's always something. Deflategate and this, that, and the other. And these dudes getting investigated for this Al Jazeera report. Ain't no damn peace. The NFLPA and Roger Goodell are constantly at odds about stuff. But as I constantly mention about these type of things, these labor agreements, guess what? The labor never wins. Ever. Because the people inevitably, especially in the situation with professional sports, if the owners start losing money, like let's say in, what was it, 2011? What was that, 2010, that they had this the labor stoppage, the work stoppage? All the owners were going to do if they started missing games was pass the cost on to you. Because they know you're hooked on that drug called football. And you'll buy it. You know, that's why Arthur Blank can start hitting y'all over the head with these PSLs and all these things for this new stadium, because he knows y'all are going to buy it. Now, the Falcons got to win, of course. They got to do that. But for whatever it's worth, all that stuff is going to be sold beforehand anyway, before you even know. And speaking of the Falcons winning, the Falcons brought in Dwight Freeney. And you know what I love about my fair city? What I love about this place? Anything new. You know, like you buy a car, you buy like a pre-owned car, and you take it to somebody's house and you say, man, y'all just got a new car. And then your boy said, it ain't new. No, that's a 2014. Well, it's new to me. That's how it always is here. Yeah, boy. I was working in sports radio. I was working at the CBS affiliate here in Atlanta when Steven Jackson and O.C. Euro signed. You would have swore that somebody came back from the future and promised the Falcons those would be the moves that brought them the Vince Lombardi trophy. The way people acted around here. Meanwhile, I'm like, do you understand what the hell, like who Steven Jackson is, first of all? Do you understand what O.C. Euro is bringing to the table? Eventually, people did. It was a harsh reminder, like, stop doing that. Like, because what you're doing when you're dealing with players, like, I think Dwight Freeney is an awesome talent, an awesome pass rusher. I think he has been. Let me say that. He has been an awesome pass rusher. But the thing that you're dealing with, when you're dealing with guys up in age that way, it's like playing a game of hot potato. You know, last year, the Cardinals had the hot potato. They didn't hold it too long. They let it go. Now, the damn Falcons have it. And inevitably, somebody's going to get left holding that hot potato, man. It just happens that way. Where dudes, no matter how great they've been, at some point, they won't have it anymore. And they'll be on somebody's team when it happens. And now the Falcons feel like they've solved some sort of pass rush problems. And the problem with it is this. Like, if you want Dwight Freeney to play any more than like 10 snaps a game, you losing. You are absolutely losing. If this dude is forced into any more action than that, yep. You know what I mean? Like, get ready for 8-8 again or whatever. And not being able to get the other team off the field. Of course, you got Julio, you got Devontae Freeman, you got Matt Ryan. Yeah, but how many shootouts you gonna try to be in, man? How many times at the end of ball games when the game is close and you need to get the ball back for your offense, how many times are you gonna trust your defense to do that here in Atlanta? Over the last couple years, the last 3 years, I think. No one has had fewer sacks than this team here in Atlanta. Now, you didn't address it in the draft. You went and got the kid from Florida, Neal, a safety. Have fun. I don't know. Whatever. You know. Tyrann Mathieu, by the way, just became the richest safety, or got the richest safety contract in NFL history. So big up to him. I don't know. Paying safety sometimes, to me, feels like paying quarterbacks. Or not quarterbacks, sorry. Paying running backs. If you do, cool. If you think he's that special, cool. But, you know, the worry is always still there. that he's such a physical player, but he still has physical limitations being his size, and that lending itself to continuous injuries. I mean, he's been hurt since he's been in the league. You know, it's been something. He's coming off an ACL now, so it's going to be interesting to see how that investment pans out, because like my man Goff used to say, you treat safeties like you treat running backs. Just run him into the ground and go get another one. And you got to pay him. Let somebody else pay him. But we'll see. That's why when everybody was like clamoring for Cam Chancellor to get his money last year, and the Seahawks was like, hell no, bring your ass to work. And then after a couple games, he realized when nobody playing with him, he brought his ass to work. Yeah, I mean, Cam Chancellor's a good, hard-hitting safety, but at the end of the day, he gets exposed, man. He's limited in the coverage game. You know what a good show is? I'm going to tell you guys what a good show is to look at. Look at NFL Turning Point. I don't know what time it actually comes on during the season. I think it just comes on at sporadic times. But just set the VCR. Old man, set the DVR to record it, man. I have it recorded like every year. And it gives you the all-22 film. It's one of those shows that gives you the all-22 film on a lot of the games over the weekend. You guys get to see that a lot of times what you think you're seeing, you're not actually seeing. When you think somebody got burnt, it wasn't that person's responsibility, but they just happened to be, in the vicinity. Things of that nature, man. Check that out. Speaking of people getting burnt, well, not people getting burnt. I'm not going to talk about Josh Norman and Deshaun Jackson up there in the nation's capital. I think that's blown out of proportion. If you played football before, if you ever seen a football practice, and you understand that one-on-one pass rush is a defensive drill. One-on-one with the corners and the receivers, that's an offensive drill. You had no pass rush. The quarterback didn't have anything prohibiting his vision. Yeah, it's an offensive. And then two, we can't act like Deshaun Jackson ain't like one of the fastest dudes in the league. He might not be the most complete receiver, again, because of his size. There's some limitations there, but it ain't really too many corners that he can't just run by. If it comes down to making a dude play press man, ain't nobody playing press man on Deshaun Jackson during no season. Much less Josh Gordon. What was his name? Josh Norman. Sorry, I'm mixing two dudes up. Josh Norman. Yeah, so people look at these training camp videos and go, oh man, look, Josh, no, I told you he was overrated. Calm down. Figure out what he is when you see him in action. You know what I mean? You ain't got to jump the gun on that. No, there's certain dudes that maybe you can see it coming. Who I look at Josh Norman as, and I know this is going to sound bad. It's going to sound worse than I intended to sound. But Nnamdi Asomugha. Nnamdi Asomugha was a good corner. But what happened was he took some money to go to a place where he thought there was this quote-unquote dream team. And then the dude that was running the defense, who had never run a defense before, he's like an offensive line coach, decided he wanted to move this dude around and put him at safety and all these things. This dude was a man-to-man corner. Now, my problem with him was probably my only issue with Josh Norman is that he's not one of those Richard Sherman, those Darrelle Revis cornerbacks that catch the football. He's a pass breakup. He's a PBU corner. And sometimes, man, those dudes are more easily exposed. And the people, quarterbacks, especially the way the rules are in the NFL game now, they'll try those guys a lot more. And you will see guys those guys get beat. Whereas Richard Sherman, the quarterback knows that I can't throw it at him on second down. I can't make a mistake on second down because there will be no third down. It'll be first down going the other way if I make a mistake. With Josh Norman, he'll knock it away, and you'll get another shot at this thing. That's the difference I see. I don't know that he's necessarily a bad corner or a good corner, or he's a system corner, as a lot of people like to say, which is ridiculous because in most parts of football, there's a system in place. There's a system for the running back. There's a system for the quarterbacks that they thrive in. A lot of stuff just boils down to marriages, man. How good the marriage is between the team that either drafts you or signs you as a free agent, between what you do and what you're being asked to do by the team. There's certain dudes that are transcendent of that, of course. I could put Odell Beckham Jr. on any team. I could put Julio Jones on any team, and Larry AJ Green on any team, and they'd be that dude because they're so good. But there's certain dudes, like you said, with DeMarco Murray, man. He needs things to be a certain way for him to be successful. And I think that's not the minority. I think that's the majority when it comes to NFL football. And I think that's why it's so important. That's why the scouting is so important. Not just scouting the best player, but the best player that fits what you need him to do. I was going to say him or her. See, that's what happens when you try to be too politically correct. Got a couple more minutes here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Appreciate you guys for joining me. Don't forget about the sound off line. You can still use it even when I'm not on the air. Let's call it on the air. It's 678-568-9011. Just call it. You can leave a message saying whatever you want to. If I'm an idiot, or if you want to cuss me out, or if you want to tell me about how much of a great woman you got, or terrible woman, or guy that you got, run it. I'm here for you. And then I'll drop them into the old console, and I'll run them back on the following episode, which will be Friday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Now, Matt Ryan had a problem last year with throwing the ball to the other team, especially coming out of his own end zone and in throwing it in the red zone when the Falcons were in the red zone. Now, I don't know, as a Falcons fan, if this is going to concern you, but I'm going to report it anyway. Vaughn McClure, ESPN's Vaughn McClure, reports that Matt Ryan has thrown at least 5 interceptions during the team's 5 practices, including 2 during Tuesday's practice. Now, once again, I think that kid, Trufant is a good corner. He ain't Richard Sherman. He ain't Pat Peterson, but he's a good corner. And I don't know who Matt Ryan threw the interceptions to. My point is the Falcons secondary is average to below. So maybe this is a concern. A guy who never really felt to me like him and Kyle Shanahan were on the same page offensively, man. It just didn't seem like Matt was confident in the plays that were being called. If you remember, before Matt actually put together the playbook with, who was it, Dirk Cutter? Yeah, in the Mike Smith regime. I remember the story about Dirk Cutter coming in and him sitting down with Matt Ryan and actually putting together the playbook based on Matt Ryan's preferences, man. And now we're in the year 2 with Kyle Shanahan, man. Dan Quinn was asked about the interceptions, whether he was concerned about them. He says no. He says, quote, "No, I'm not, to answer your question. I know this is the time to try everything, whether it's a different route or a different look. It's also an important part in English for the defense too, like how they can get off the ball. So no, for us, this is what this time is all about. In terms of getting timing down, getting the routes right. Some of that happens in training camp practices." End quote. See, that's a defensive coach talking. I would be curious to hear what the coach of the offense might say about that. These interceptions that Matt Ryan is throwing. God, time just flies by, man. I'll save this NCAA stuff. I'll say, you know what? I'm gonna throw this Texas A&M stuff. A couple coaches from Texas A&M got in trouble for some, I don't even know what you want to call it, inappropriate stuff. Like they were trying to be funny and it went wrong on them. I laughed because I'm an idiot, but they were doing like a chalk talk thing for a bunch of ladies and teaching them about the game of football or whatever. And they got real juvenile in the things that they were saying, and people got offended, and folks like, they need to be fired. Like, that part of the world is so crazy. Like, every time you turn around, man, folks got to get fired because somebody's feelings got hurt. Grow up, man. Good God, grow up. Also, the U.S. men's Olympic team would not have to deal with all that crap in in Rio. They got a yacht. They got a huge yacht boat, like a cruise liner, with special beds and all kind of stuff, and chefs. And you can go to my Facebook page, man. One Mic with Big Mike, ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. It's on my, what is it called? My timeline. Is that what it is? Yeah, it's on my timeline. You guys can check out the pictures of where the U.S. men's basketball team will be staying. Meanwhile, Andrew Bogut is sewing together a damn shower curtain so he don't flood his damn room. Anyway, man, that's going to do it for the Hump Day edition of the One Mike with Big Mike show. Big thank you to the homie Omar Miller from the show Ballers for stopping through, man, and chopping it up for a minute. Make sure you guys check out Ballers, 10 p.m. Eastern time on HBO every Sunday, as well as his podcast, the Ozone Podcast. You guys can go to iTunes and check that out the way I did. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Miller, on Instagram and Facebook at Omar Benson Miller to get more information on his podcast. Friday, we were supposed to have HBO Real Sports correspondent David Scott. He did a wonderful story on the Olympics that was in China and will be again in China in 4 years. He had to reschedule, so we'll talk to him on Monday. This gives me a bunch of time to check out these opening ceremonies and probably a couple of competitions. The Olympics, the soccer stuff starts before the Olympics start, like before the what do they call the opening ceremonies? That's hella weird, man. Just get rid of the Olympics. Anyway, man, make sure you guys share this with your friends. Tell your friends about the best kept secret in sports talk, man. The One Mike with Big Mike show, heard on Spreaker.com, iTunes, Blast.fi, OneMikeWithBigMike.com. All episodes are archived on all those places, as well as the video of today's show will be on YouTube. You can find the audio on iTunes and iHeartRadio as well. And as I mentioned before, please subscribe to my Facebook page, or not Facebook, what is it? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys use my sound offline. The question of the day still is popping. It's brought to you by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Can LeBron ever catch the ghost of Michael Jordan? And should he even be trying? Should he just give up? You guys can send me your thoughts on that on social media. Hashtag it with One Mike QOTD. Yeah. Or call 678-568-9011. I'm going to find out if you can text that number as well. I'm going to test that out here in just a second. So until then, man, until Friday, you guys be safe. And I'll talk to you guys later.